Welcome back to Southside Wassup with De Colores. This is a brand new segment we're bringing you all exclusively to YouTube. As an Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas founded collective, we wanted to be more intentional about always staying rooted at home, in Texas, and of course, the larger South. In order to incorporate more amazing people doing incredible work, we decided to create this brand new special segment, Southside Wassup. If it's your first time hearing from us, welcome. My name is Eva Arreguin, and I'm the host of the podcast De Colores Radio. This is Southside. What's up? Southside. Southside. Yeah. Maybe we need to get him on here, hopefully one day. We're very excited to be bringing on our next guest, someone I have admired and told I was going to interview for like 5 years. And now it's finally happening. And it really is truly an honor to be bringing on the divine Teetah or TeetahCrear. TeetahCrear is from Dallas, Texas, and is dedicated to preserving and creating space for healthy community to thrive. She's a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School. You might have heard of that. For the performing and visual arts, of course, I can't forget that part, and has a BFA in Theater African Studies from New York University and an MS in Management and Administration Sciences from UT Dallas. Crear has over 30 years professional experience in the Dallas cultural arts scene, working as a teaching artist, entrepreneur, and arts administrator. Teetah is currently the lead of the Susu Cultural Business Incubator that aims to mobilize creative cultural business to develop locally owned neighborhood hubs. January 2017, Susu Incubator launched its first project, Recipe Oak Cliff, a juice bar and vegan cafe with a focus on addressing food security in her neighborhood. Previously, Teetah owned and operated the creative venue Reciprocity that hosted 6 years of performance and gallery events, artist consignment, and cooperative projects, and a vegetarian cafe and school lunch program. Teetah has also worked 12 years with the City of Dallas Office of Cultural Affairs as a program coordinator, developing and administering cultural arts contracts. Please welcome to the show. I feel like she's still being humble in that bio. There's so much more. The beautiful TeetahCrear. Welcome to the Colores. How are
Yay!
you?
I'm so good, Emma. How are you?
I'm better now that I get to talk to you finally.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Yes,
Listen, we
y'all's
needed it.
y'all's theme music is banging too. I was
I
like, hey,
know. We have a
oh,
good time with it. We always want to get up and dance. Sometimes when you hear it actually out, you're like, oh, hello, I know this song.
yeah, nice.
Well, it's great to see you. I mean it. I feel like since the moment I met you, I was like, you are everything. You had such a special like aura. You're very welcoming, and there's just no one I've met in Dallas like you. So I'm just glad that you're finally here with us, so we can learn a little bit more about who you are and your story as well.
Thank you so much, Emma. I feel the same way about you, and
Ah,
honored to be on this show. I love everything
yay!
y'all are doing. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so I need to get started because I have a lot of things I want to ask, and I know that you always have so many amazing stories. You are currently drinking some of your beautiful hibiscus from Recipe Oak Cliff. If y'all have been there, you know how much goodness. Look at her. Look at this model moment. I'm
Mm.
not going to say what you said before we started, but hopefully it comes back around. I do want to know though, how did you get your start? When was it that you first got involved in the arts, or what was it? Was it as a little girl that you immediately felt connected to like performance?
Oh, so when it comes to the arts, I don't know. I feel like maybe you know how sometimes things just come to you naturally.
Right.
I was always very loud,
Uh
and
huh.
you know, I don't know, not a clown.
Animated.
Yeah, animated. That's the word.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Animated as a child, and then my grandfather was a preacher.
Mm.
They had a church, and so we were all
Wow.
in church in the summer times when we would go down to the country. Because
Okay.
was one thing, but real life was nothing. I'm just a baby of country people from the backwoods of East Texas.
Uh huh.
And so going to church, you always had to be up there singing the songs or reading the things and doing that. So I was always in front of people. And then when I got into high school, we were living out in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Shout out.
OKGP. And the home of the mighty Gophers.
Okay, what's up? I'm not even a gopher, but I act like I am because my sisters are.
Oh my gosh! And I didn't know about Booker T. About
Oh
arts.
wow.
I didn't know about it.
Hmm.
Then when I heard about it, I was like, "Mom, why am I
Mhm.
not in this school?"
Oh wow.
It was like fame.
Yeah.
Y'all don't
I know
remember.
fame. I know fame. Yeah.
I wanna live forever, fame.
Yes, of course.
Okay, yes, you want to do that leap, right?
Yeah. Grand Jeté.
Yes. So yeah, because I was always doing theater and things back before then in the schools I was in and things, and went to Booker T for my last 2 years of high school, and everything
Ah,
just really, really went up from there. So
wow.
yep, that was
I
my
love it.
in arts.
So it was only your last 2 years there and it made such a profound impact on you and like changed your world.
Changed my life,
Wow. And
saved
then
me, really.
mm, like
Mhm.
from yourself or from like your just life circumstances or just in general like
It
guided
was
you?
yeah, just I was just a kind of eccentric little black girl in
Mhm.
the back of Grand Prairie.
Mm.
Wasn't, you know, I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot of acceptance.
Yeah.
At Booker T, I just felt kind of like, even though, there were things that happened there too, but I felt
Right.
more accepted, like, these are my people.
Mm. And at that time, because Booker T has gone kind of gone through a few revolutions. So at that time, was it still more predominantly like black folks, Latino folks, white folks, or was it what was it looking like?
It was a mandated mix.
Mm.
Because during that time, they had to adhere to certain percentages.
Oh wow. And then
Mhm.
that kind of went away, and I feel like they're probably requiring that again now, huh?
Yeah, yeah, because it went away because you think, well, now you get it, right? But people
Mm-hmm.
don't. But the bias is just too strong. People are just raised with so much bias that
Right.
they tend to lean towards that type of discrimination, even though it's subconscious. That's the nature
Right.
of America. Welcome to America. So I mean, it's just like that. They
Oh
put
my
that in
god.
there in every aspect. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they probably. I don't know where they are with it, but they probably do need to bring those percentages back. So it was a good, just healthy mix of all kinds of people from everywhere.
Right. And y'all have such a connect. I make fun of it a little bit just because I was around so many what I call Pegasi. But like y'all do have a beautiful unity. It's like all the people that drive Jeeps, like y'all all have like a head nod, respect for each other. And it's like it's really amazing because especially, for the last probably what 30, 40 years, like that was where you went if you were creative, if you were lucky enough, right, for some of the later years, is like to go there because there was an outlet. And a lot of us, even I remember, going to dance in Grand Prairie, and one girl said like, I'm auditioning, and I thought in my head like, what is that? I didn't even realize, like, I had a cousin that went there, but like it didn't click because we don't realize these art opportunities or these art schools are literally made for us to shine.
Yes, indeed.
Whew.
I'm glad to see more performing arts schools popping up, though.
Yes, because
Um,
they're needed. There's so much brilliance here.
And then also, I think that I'm happy to see like more science and other kind of academies like that, just like kind of coming up. I have a whole
Right.
lot of thoughts about how the whole education system could just be revamped, which I really thought that during
Ooh.
the pandemic, right? I thought that
Ugh.
would be, and it's been 2 years now, right? So I thought that, wow, okay, it's about
This
to go
is the
down.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the teachers and things are going to say, you know what, maybe we don't need the school systems. We're going to each teach inside of our neighborhoods and gather it like that. Um,
Mm.
but we have such a dependency on these structures.
Right. I think we're just like you said, we're so accustomed to it, so we unfortunately become complacent because we're afraid to go against the grain because that will stir things up too much and like it ruffles white supremacy's feathers a little too much. So we'd rather just like roll with it. But summer 2020 had us thinking a lot was gonna change, maybe, and then it's
We don't know,
looking, yeah.
but maybe it will. I'm saying whenever y'all are ready to shut it down, call
I know
me.
who to call. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Right. No, I feel you. I feel you. All right. So I need to know then, when was the pivot from, and I don't mean to say it as a separate thing, because I actually do think food is kind of within the arts world, right? But when did the pivot happen from, working in the arts, specifically, to then exploring the vegan world, especially here in Dallas?
Well, let's put it like this: the food and vegetarianism and veganism has always been just a big part of my life.
Mm.
So, I became a vegetarian when I was 14.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
So we're talking about the 80s.
Mm.
The 80s in Texas.
Yeah, what does vegetarian food look like in the 80s in Texas?
Well, I can tell you this: there were no meat substitutes
Yeah,
like
I bet.
burger and all that stuff. There
Pea
was none of
protein. Yeah.
when it first came out, when those things started coming out, I thought it was weird and disgusting.
Right.
It was like, what is that? So it looked like a lot of hunger. No, I'm just kidding.
That is
It,
not what I thought you were gonna say. Yeah.
it looked like a lot of peanut butter and jelly and grilled cheese.
Uh-huh. Aw.
But yeah, so I just had to learn. I had a neighbor who she was a vegetarian. Well, it was my neighbor's mom was a vegetarian, and so
Mm.
she would go to Whole Foods and she would get a nature burger.
Oh,
And it was,
nice.
yeah, it was like dehydrated nuts and seeds, and you would add
Wow.
and then like make a patty and like fry it up and then put it on a burger with sprouts and different things like
Wow.
that. And so yeah, I was just really, really hungry. And I didn't start knowing about like different foods that were available until maybe on up into high school, like maybe
Mm.
last years. There's always been a couple places, and we can talk about some of those places in Dallas, like, but the Ethiopian food,
I
it,
had a feeling this was coming, and I was ready because that is
yeah,
so delicious.
that saved me. Queen of Sheba was around back then.
Nice.
There's a place called Cosmic Cup.
Cafe. Oh, okay. I was
It's
like,
called,
cafe?
it was called Cosmic Cafe, and
Okay,
they
okay.
recently closed.
I
But
heard.
they're classic. They've been around forever. And the
Wow.
man who owned it before he sold it to the last owner, Kumar, is
Mhm.
like a guru in yoga,
Oh,
like
wow.
amazing person. And his son, I remember all them. And then also there were always a lot of like Jamaicans in town, like they
Mhm.
would have like an ital, something where you could just grab like a veggie patty or something,
Right.
in South Dallas. And so those are the people that fed me, and of course Mexican food.
Mhm.
Because there, so many of our cultural foods are always going to have uh,
Beans.
a vegetarian or vegan component, but we just don't
Mhm.
call it all that. That's why
Right.
people, kind of related to maybe other cultures. They'll say, "Ah, you eating vegan? That's from white people." No, we've
It's
been doing
really not. Yeah,
this.
it's in our roots.
It's in our
No, that's true. So, can I go backwards just a hair and ask what made you become vegetarian then? Because you're 14 in the 80s in Texas, like that. You're not really seeing it around. Besides your neighbor's mother, you said.
right. There was this chick in my theater class who was the daughter of hippies.
Okay,
And so she was just like this hippie chick, and
I
she was
love it.
talking about it. She was talking about it, and I was like, And it just really piqued my interest because I had
Right,
never even thought of that. Like, why would you do that? I
right.
couldn't even imagine in my mouth my pancakes without bacon. Okay? And so I just kind of almost like a divine type of thing occurred
Mm,
because it's like God was like, this is a challenge that I'm presenting for you in your life. Like
mm.
to test yourself and do it. And I accepted that challenge.
Wow.
And then began to grow and grow and grow in it. And I know that you asked me like when I transitioned. But so it's always been food and things have always been on the undercurrent.
Right. Intertwined with your life.
Always, always, always. And you know how we are as human beings when we don't get all tainted. We have so many interests.
Oh,
There's so
absolutely.
many
Because
things that we
the
can do.
curiosity is there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so that's one of the things that has always been there. So I went to school for theater. I don't call myself a chef, and I know that
All
people,
these titles, the labels.
yeah, people do call that. I just don't think that that's fair. Like I cook, it's
Mm,
something that I do very well, but I just think that these days that we're in now, too, like people feel like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Go for your thing, but people feel like they
right.
can kind of like watch 5 YouTube videos on a subject and then they're the master teacher. And I just don't feel like that's fair. Like, especially when it comes to things that have to do with our culture and things that like it takes a study and a dedication
Mm,
commitment. And so like I don't have I'm not trained like that, but I do come from people who cook, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And I also have friends all over the planet, and I hang out with their mothers and their grandmamas and
Right.
and eat and listen,
Right.
learn.
Yeah.
So that's a part of my arts, my culture, my community development. It's all kind of a part of the same thing.
I
Mm.
love it. I love it. And so with this recipe cliff then was what made you start it because you felt this need and you were like I'm ready to take this on for my own journey because you'd become like a pro to some respect, right? But obviously there was a great need here in Dallas as well.
True.
So
So, but this project started really more as a development project because
mm,
the vision that came in my mind was I live not too far from the building where Recipe is located, right by the Dallas Zoo. Or
right.
near that Dallas Zoo. And one day I just kind of like was pulled over, another one of these divine things. See, I told you it's weird, but
Uh-huh.
these little things came and it was like, look at all of this, look at this stretch of mile of land between downtown and here, and all
Mhm.
of these abandoned properties that are here.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was much more in contact with a lot of the, up and coming businesses and entrepreneurs and things. I had a poetry spot back in the day, and just, we were all growing and people were growing in their businesses and things. And it was like,
Right.
what if we captured many of these properties and created like a cultural business hub,
Mm,
launched our independent businesses inside of these vacant properties. So then,
right.
I went on a kind of like a mission of like, working with a group of people and like doing pop-up markets all over around here, and all the vacant parking lots up and down and around,
Uh-huh.
kind of prove the model. And then I was steady looking for one of these properties to obtain, and this property was the first one that kind of made the most sense because it was the newest building, so it wouldn't take so long to renovate it. And so yeah, so I went ahead and went with that. Now, then when you get a property talks to you, and so listen, and the property said, "I'd like to be a juice bar," and I said, "Oh, for real?
That's what you want to be building?
You building? You want to be a juice bar? Well, honey, you can be what you want to be. You
I
hear
feel
me?
like I want this to be a kids show now because the building spoke to you and that
Yeah,
yeah.
juice bar." No, but yeah. So I mean, because it made the most sense with all the different things that we were going, that we were doing, the different businesses that we are doing.
Right.
Let's start with food.
Mm.
Let's start with food because we're over here. We're hungry. The children are eating chips and blue juice for breakfast. Um,
I don't mean to laugh at that. I know it is true, but I also feel slightly attacked because I was probably one of those children what back in the day
I
and I
understand.
was like I'm
Exactly.
happy now, but like it's what it is kind of cultural, but also it's just like I get it, right? Because there is such this great need, and it's not there.
Right. And we're hungry. And the thing is, it's not our fault. And when I say these different things, there's no judgment or no,
Right, right, right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about my own self and my own family as I speak
Mhm.
of these things, but we gotta laugh to keep from crying,
Uh, gr-
you know. But they
don't you know?
Yeah, so they pervert our taste buds, and so just to be able to provide some kind of option and some kind of alternative, we're not fulfilling all the needs that we can
Right.
do, but just an option. And that's why
Mhm.
that's one of the things that I've had to learn, and what I try to share with others. It's like sometimes you don't have to think about trying to like save the whole world,
Right.
right? But you just make your contributions.
That specific niche, let lean into it.
Lean in there, get it in
Mhm.
there. We have so much.
Mhm.
We don't have a lot of time, but really, if you take your time, uh, you can really kind of make a lot of impact if you just
Of
focus.
course. Of
So
course.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. So I mentioned earlier, I see you as one of the like, because now, and I've seen, major articles, and it's amazing. I'm always so proud when I see like, these stories on the Dallas Black vegan community. And I'm like, you know what? We really got so much to offer now. And I feel as though you are one of the pioneers of this more recent movement, right? And I know you have your own, history of who came before you, and I'm like, but I wanted to give you your flowers as well, because you've been so amazing, and from what I know, you've opened your arms to other people coming and literally working inside this talking building that said, get our vegans in here, get these people with clean foods for the community out here. And you've been such a great role model for so many amazing businesses that have come, I think, after Recipe Cliff. So how does that make you feel? Because I truly do see you as like a pioneer of this new Black vegan modern Dallas world.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that as a thought. Yeah, I appreciate that. To me, to see the vegan scene, blowing up, it just makes me really, really happy.
Right.
Because there are so many businesses now. I mean, can we even start to name them?
No, literally. I'm like, before I could, now I can't.
East, yeah, vegan food house, so many, so good. I mean, just so many, and
Right.
I love to see it. I think we can even go even harder, and not only get the Black vegan chef community, but all the vegan chef community, and
Hmm.
especially I have just a passion for people who lean into when you lean into your culture.
Yes, and make it good.
Lean into your culture. My culture is my immune system. I say.
Uh-huh.
You know, and
Mm.
that's where the things are. We're right here in the South, so we've
Yeah.
got the Southern, the Black Southern foodways. We
Mhm.
got our indigenous root,
Yes.
indigenous foodways. We got to honor that. We got to
Yeah.
reach in there and dig in there and get that magic and those blessings and that knowledge that they have left for us. And yeah, the reason why I say that about I'm Black, yes, but it's like we have so many connections,
Mhm.
and I want us to get more into, like, what I'm saying, our connections. It's really
Yeah.
people with culture and then people without.
Right. No, I feel like that's probably one of the first things we discussed was like I think I honestly, because when I walked in, it used to be the OC3 is where we met, right? And like that's where I first started right after college, just jumping in there and getting involved. And I remember, I think you probably had a cup of Jamaica, and I was like, oh, you know about what I know about. And then it like started clicking in that moment, and from then on, cuz I was like, I had just, taken all these courses on like African American studies, Mexican American studies, all these things, and I was like, duh, like you just learned all this shit and it's live, so it was just like so incredible to see it, and then to see Recipe flourish into such a beautiful place. And then every time I ate your food, I was like, why can't I have this every day? I mean, I can, but like, you know what I mean? So it's definitely been like a beautiful journey to witness, your growth and your evolution. And then who you are as a person fills people so much in their heart that like the food you bring and nourish people with as well, I think fully encompasses who you are.
Oh, thank you, Eva. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that about the hibiscus, the jamaica, and
Uh-huh.
that's one of the reasons why I put that in the forefront because
Right.
it is like I say, you really need the ancestry DNA test. It's
Hello.
your taste buds.
Right.
Tells
Right.
you how we are all connected. But just that
Mm.
same story I always tell about the hibiscus is the fact that right now, all over this world, somebody is drinking their version of that flower,
Absolutely.
and
Are
that
you
shows us a lot.
100? Even the fact that it's called Jamaica, that's literally Jamaica. Like,
Yeah,
hello. Anyways, but I
yeah.
was gonna say, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but there's a really interesting like vegan, you see a lot more of this vegan cultural movement even happening there. I
Ooh,
recently saw some people on there making the, hibiscus flower into a carne asada like meat.
yep,
And I
absolutely.
was like mind blown. And I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. Because they were like, okay, I made my juice, but now I can, transfer these into that. Or I saw another one where they made the hibiscus into like Sour Patch candies. And they
Oh,
made it sour with lemon and then some sugar. And I was like, again, mind blown.
yes.
But it really is so amazing because there's just so much you can offer with, these like plants and as medicine sort of thing. Um, one of my final questions to you, I wish I could talk to you forever. I think I can. What do you most recommend, if any? Because I know there have been times, where there's health issues and stuff. What I guess nutrients or plants or foods do you most recommend for people to get into their bodies? Because I definitely, me, I'm like a big person and I don't like talking about like diet and stuff like that too much. I like people embracing themselves. So
Yeah.
are there any things that you recommend that are like easy things to add that are great of nutritional value?
I think that it's really important to just kind of um, make uh, intelligent, smart, like substitutions and swap outs. I can
Mm,
remember like the standard American diet, the SAD diet. There's a lot of like brainwashing that goes with that.
right.
It perverts our taste buds, so we have to like just make little change, little things that make big differences. Like we don't have to use the heaviest of oils if we're going to fry. We can choose like
Mhm.
grapeseed oil instead of Wesson.
Right.
We can use different,
Right.
we can cut back on some of the refined sugars maybe, and do things like that. And then I think that some of the most important things to do to incorporate into your life, no matter what's going on, because it'll help do the other stuff, are herbs.
Mm,
And then, the herbs, they're ancient, they've been around. So it's also a cultural study. You know what I
right.
mean? It's a whole thing. And those herbs carry these vibrations
Right.
that if you consume them, it's going to, help your
Help.
vibration. Yeah, it helps your vibration. It'll help with all the other things to get all the other things in order.
In alignment. Mhm.
Yeah, so I think research your great grandmama's herbs.
Mm,
What was she doing? What was she taking? What was she bathing in? What was she
right.
to make a poultice? What was she using to wash her hair? What was she
Mm,
using for her face? What was she using to make sure that worms and stuff got out? And what was
right.
know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and incorporate those things and
Don't
tap.
be afraid of them.
Don't be afraid of them and tap into that ancient vibration that's been here since the beginning, you
I
know,
love it.
and let that transform you. Hmm.
Beautiful. Do you have a top herb you want to recommend?
Well, we're in these times, so anything that deals with the lungs is really great. Everybody's on some sea moss. Have you
Ooh,
heard
I have. Okay, so that is one I have not tried, but
about?
I want to try. And I asked a couple of friends who've tried it. But that is the one thing I have not tried yet. I know you like sea moss though, so I
Yeah.
need to jump on it.
Absolutely. It's not that it's an herb. It's a sea vegetable, but it's
Right.
just the simple fact that it gives our bodies so many minerals and so many vitamins. And since the soil, like our parents could eat, a lot of meat and they would eat their balance it out with their vegetables. But a lot of times, if they're old enough, they're probably y'all's grandparents. They
Mhm.
were eating some of the things straight out of the ground, and so they were
Right.
able to get different enzymes and minerals from the ground. But since the
Right.
environment is so jacked up, the soil is depleted. So there's a
Yeah.
certain amount of minerals that we're lacking. If we grew up on the islands and stuff, we would have been drinking sea moss all the time. You see people
Right.
in tropical areas, they be looking good. You might be not even might be homeless, baby. Body just as fine as can be. Fine, or ate some sea
Yeah.
moss and picked a mango off the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Living simple and looking fine.
Ooh,
Right?
absolutely.
So yes, sea moss I think is good, and I think also uh, as far as top herbs, I think herbs for blood purification like burdock
Mm.
root, um,
I don't know that one.
herbs for the lungs, oregano oil, cooking with those, putting those in. That's gonna help keep the bacterias and things and
I have been taking oregano oil since March 2020. Knock on wood, I have never gotten COVID. I have gotten many scares.
That's right.
But I'm like, I have not stopped taking that for over 2 years now. Like these things, elderberry I take every day, all
Very,
these
yeah,
things make a difference, I think, right? And
they
like
do.
I love that. Tap into the ancient vibration is what you said, right? You can incorporate these things into your lifestyle, and I want to encourage that because I know so many people are so hard on themselves at the beginning of the year with like body and all these like to me kind of white supremacist ideologies as well, right? Like not even letting our bodies be naturally themselves.
Mhm.
But also I just am so grateful that you're here with us, and I do want to know what is next for the beautiful Miss Teetah as we wrap up our interview today.
What is next? I don't know. No.
That's
Uh,
okay
yeah,
too.
just working on more of trying to have good operations here at the shop. And if you really want to really know,
I
if you
do.
really really want to know, is we're working to finally pay off our loan so we can get this.
Mm.
They don't want you really to be a landowner.
Hello. That's hard here.
They love for you to rent.
Yeah,
You
it's
can rent
tough.
all day, but to own that land is a different story. And
Mm.
I'm encouraging myself and others, if you can get in there and get some land, if you can come together
Of
and purchase
course.
property and land, it makes such a huge difference. People paying $3,000 and $4,000 of rent a month
Mm.
for your shop. You're giving somebody $50,000 a year. You understand? And you could be investing that into your family and into
Right.
our community.
Our
So
communities.
more of that. I have we are finally launching some of these classes that are coming up in February. We have
Yay.
online classes coming,
Beautiful.
and so I'm sure I can maybe send you some things and you can maybe share the links
Of
if anybody's
course.
taking the classes.
Please.
Yeah, and just more. Even with our susu, I have a couple of susu circles going right now where we're exchanging money. Like a susu, a tanda.
Love it.
Another one that has the names from all over the world that people do it all over the world. Of cooperative economics. So doing more of that. Yeah, and then I just would like to when I get on the other side of all this, I just want to go somewhere and lay down for a little while.
Hello. I feel you. You deserve it. A beautiful beach where you can pick up the mango from the ground.
I'm trying to go to this place. I think it's outside of Tulum. It's called
Ooh.
House of Aia. You heard of it? It's an all
Uh-uh.
plant-based resort. Oh yes, I'll be there. Oh.
You need to send that link too. I want to go with you.
You come on.
I'm down. I'm down to visit a motherland, even if it's the tourist-ish area.
No, it's not. It's a
You
little
said it's outside of Tulum?
yeah. Hmm.
Okay, see, Tulum is like Cancun to me, so my brain's like, ugh. But it's still beautiful. There's still beaches, and it's still lots of love and culture there. So, all right, beautiful Tish. I am so, so grateful. I can't say it enough. Where can we find and follow your you and your business. And of course, y'all can visit Recipe Oak Cliff itself in Oak Cliff.
Okay, come on. And yeah, that's how I am on social media is a recipe Oak Cliff. And we are and they call me Teetah. You'll see that on social media. And then the program that we're starting is a Say Grace, like what you say
Ooh,
before you eat, Say Grace,
beautiful.
Vegan Food Culture Academy. So you can check that out as well.
Oh, I cannot wait. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing with us today. And I
Thank you.
thank you for everything you've ever done for Dallas as your beautiful self and as this business owner and as this person who provides us with beautiful nutrients for our bodies. So I
Thank
wish
you.
I could love and hug on you in real life, and hopefully I can see you soon.
Thank you. That went by so fast. And just before we go, I just want to say I pray the blessings upon the work that you're doing with De
Mm,
Colores and
thank
all
you.
the other work that you're doing in the community and in the nation to connect us and to enliven us and inspire our
Mm,
culture and all the beautiful aspects thereof. So many blessings to you and your
thank
work.
you. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. So received. I love you. I hope to see you
Too.
soon. Y'all go visit Recipe Oak Cliff and support our beautiful Teetah. We love you. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Southside Wassup? Check out the Colores Radio, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.